Hey guys, Mrs. Morell here with a recap of science instruction in 7th grade for Monday, March 1st and Tuesday, March 2nd. We are finally getting back to normal after the snow apocalypse 2021. We appreciate all of you really assessing and getting your assignments turned in and hope that everything is turning out okay for all of you. So here's what we did in class on March 1st and 2nd. We've reviewed our learning targets. We've been talking about energy transfer, energy transformations, the different ways we can represent that. We can do a food chain, we can do a food web. Then we talked about energy pyramids, and the difference is that a food chain or web shows feeding relationships, and an energy pyramid shows energy moving through the trophic levels. We recognize that arrows are used to show the flow of energy. They point to the direction, in the direction that the energy is traveling. So they point to the organism receiving the energy. We know that only a small percentage of available energy flows through a chain or web or pyramid. It's actually 10% between the trophic levels. The other 90% is used for life processes like cellular respiration, and then is given off as thermal energy. So by the time you get to the top of the pyramid, only a tiny, tiny fraction of the original energy available makes it up there. So that's why you have far fewer of those organisms than you do the producers or the first level consumers. So we, as always, here's a video recap from the last class. We did our warm-up questions. We reviewed our vocabulary. We compared food chains to food webs. So if you'll remember, a food chain is simply a simple representation of energy flow through one set of organisms. So it's a straight line. So it starts with the sun, then a producer, always a producer, then a primary, secondary, tertiary, maybe an apex predator, but a lot of times it'll stop with a tertiary, and then somewhere out to the side, a decomposer. But it just shows you one set of arrows, whereas a food web shows you lots of interlocking food chains. So here's a chain, here's a chain, here's a chain, here's a chain, tons of interlocking chains. So here's some more information about food webs and food chains. Then we talked about the 10% rule. So here is a page all about that. So it kind of reviews webs. And I give you, for your example, a desert food web that shows predator-prey relationships, primary, secondary, consumers, carnivores, those would be the meat eaters, herbivores, those are the plant eaters. So in that desert food web. So then I showed you those same organisms on an energy pyramid. So you can see that here are the producers, here are the primary or first level consumers, the herbivores, then the secondary, then the tertiary. And so notice that the organisms are the same, but the graphic representation is different. The arrows show the flow of energy. The pyramid organizes all the organisms into their general feeding groups and analyzes the amount of energy that's available. So it does this by knowing that all the energy is down here at the bottom. So 100% of the energy, of that 100%, only 10% makes it to the first level consumers. 90% is used for metabolic processes or given off as heat. And so on up through the pyramid until you get to the third level consumers, that 1/10 of 1% is available of that original 100%. So this is why we have so many fewer tertiary organisms than we do primary producers and first level and second level organisms. And then I show you what that looks like with energy units. So if you start with 10,000, you end up with 10 or 1, depending on how high you want to go up there. So there's a lot of information about energy pyramids for you. And then finally, we watched a really cool Amoeba Sisters video that kind of ties it all together. Then I gave you guys the Antarctic Food Web assignment. So you'll need to make a copy as always, move it to your assignments folder, read through it carefully, double check that you've done the rubric, answer the questions in complete sentences, and then when you're done, you'll complete the food web, screenshot it, and upload it to the very last slide. Don't forget that Friday is the last day of the grading period. This says to prepare for your Units 15 summative quiz, which you are going to do, but that quiz is not going to be until next week because you wouldn't have time for retakes before the end of the grading period. So be studying for it, but it's not for a few more days. All right. If you have any questions, please see your science teacher. Have a great day.